In early 2021, General Motors captured global attention by setting a bold and ambitious target for its future. The American automotive giant declared its aspiration to sell only zero-emission vehicles by the year 2035. This was a landmark announcement, signaling a seismic shift for a company historically defined by its powerful petrol and diesel engines. The plan was not merely a suggestion, it was presented as a core component of GM's strategy to lead the transition away from fossil fuels, positioning itself as a pioneer in the electric vehicle revolution. This commitment was seen as a powerful endorsement of an all-electric future, influencing both competitors and policymakers alike. The 2035 goal was more than just a production target. It represented a complete reimagining of the company's identity and its role in the global economy. It implied a massive undertaking, requiring billions of pounds in investment to retool factories, retrain workers, and develop an entirely new generation of battery-powered cars and lorries. For consumers, it promised a future where the rumble of a V8 engine would be replaced by the quiet hum of an electric motor. The pledge was contingent on several external factors, including robust government support, the widespread availability of charging infrastructure, and a significant shift in consumer preference towards electric vehicles. At the time, the environment seemed ripe for such a transformation. Political tailwinds, particularly from the Biden administration in the United States, provided strong incentives for both manufacturers and buyers. The company, led by CEO Mary Barra, confidently spoke of a world where EVs were not just an alternative but the definitive standard. GM invested heavily in its Ultium battery platform, which was designed to be the flexible, powerful heart of its new electric lineup, from affordable hatchbacks to commanding electric lorries. The vision was clear. GM would not just participate in the electric era, it would define it. However, even as the announcement was made, GM framed the 2035 objective as aspirational. This careful choice of words acknowledged the immense challenges that lay ahead. The transition depended on a complex interplay of technology, policy, market demand, and infrastructure development. The company was essentially making a calculated wager that all these elements would align perfectly over the next decade and a half. This initial pronouncement set a high bar, one that would soon be tested by the harsh realities of a rapidly changing economic and political landscape, forcing the company to reconsider the pace of its electric journey. Recent actions by General Motors suggest a significant recalibration of its all-electric strategy. A series of substantial investments in its internal combustion engine operations indicates that petrol-powered vehicles will remain a crucial part of its portfolio for the foreseeable future. In June 2025, the company announced a staggering $4 billion investment in its domestic manufacturing facilities, with a primary focus on boosting the production of its traditional petrol vehicles. This move is not a minor adjustment, but a fundamental strategic pivot, signaling that the path to an all-electric lineup by 2035 is no longer considered a certainty, but rather a distant goal. This strategic shift includes moving the production of approximately 500,000 petrol-powered vehicles from Mexico to plants within the United States. Analysts widely interpret this decision as a direct response to new 25% tariffs imposed by the Trump administration on vehicles imported from Mexico. By onshoring production, GM avoids these costly tariffs, making its popular lorries and SUVs more financially viable. This practical business decision, however, has profound implications for its EV timeline. It effectively locks the company into producing a high volume of petrol vehicles well into the next decade, making a complete phase-out by 2035 mathematically improbable. Further evidence of this pivot can be found in specific plant-level decisions. In May 2025, GM reversed its previous plan to manufacture electric motors at its plant in Towanda, New York. Instead, the company invested nearly $900 million to equip the facility for the production of V8 engines, the very symbol of traditional American automotive power. This followed a 2023 investment of over $500 million to refurbish an engine plant in Flint, Michigan. Such investments are not short-term measures. The operational lifespan of a modern engine plant is typically 15 years or more, extending GM's commitment to internal combustion engine technology into the 2040s. The production realignment paints a clear picture of this dual strategy. While key electric models like the Silverado EV and Cadillac Escalade IQ are being consolidated at Factory Zero in Detroit, other factories are being retooled for petrol-powered staples. The Orion plant in Michigan will build full-size SUVs, while the Fairfax plant in Kansas will take on the Equinox. This carefully orchestrated division of labor ensures that GM can meet current market demand for its profitable petrol vehicles, while simultaneously, though more slowly, developing its EV capacity. The dream of an all-electric future has met the pragmatic need to sell what customers are buying today. A key reason for General Motors' strategic adjustment is the dramatic change in the political and regulatory environment since 2021. When the all-electric goal was first announced, it was supported by strong federal incentives from the Biden administration, which aimed to accelerate the EV transition through tax credits and manufacturing grants. However, the political landscape has since shifted. The current Trump administration has begun to dismantle some of these support structures, creating a less favorable climate for rapid electrification. This reduction in government backing has made the business case for a swift and costly transition far more challenging for automakers. Furthermore, specific regulatory mandates that once seemed certain are now facing significant opposition. A prime example is California's rule requiring all new vehicle sales to be electric by 2035. This state-level policy was a cornerstone of the national EV strategy, but it has faced legal and political challenges. The Republican-controlled Congress recently voted to nullify the rule, and although the bill awaits President Trump's signature and subsequent legal battles, the resulting uncertainty is palpable. GM, through its industry lobby group, has actively opposed the mandate, arguing for a more flexible, technology-neutral approach that reflects market realities. Beyond the realm of policy, consumer appetite for electric vehicles has cooled noticeably. The initial wave of enthusiasm from early adopters has given way to more cautious consideration from the mainstream market. Concerns about high purchase prices, limited driving range, and the inadequacy of public charging infrastructure remain significant barriers for many potential buyers. This softer-than-expected demand means that automakers risk producing a surplus of EVs that are difficult to sell, while demand for reliable and familiar petrol and hybrid vehicles remains strong. This market reality has forced GM to be more responsive to what customers are willing to buy right now. This trend is not unique to General Motors. Across the industry, other major automakers are also tapping the brakes on their aggressive EV timelines. In 2024, prominent European manufacturers like Volvo, Volkswagen, and Mercedes-Benz all walked back or delayed similar goals they had set for an all-electric transition in the early 2030s. This collective industry retreat suggests that the initial projections for EV adoption were overly optimistic. Automakers are now acknowledging that the journey to an electric future will likely be longer and more complex than initially envisioned, requiring a flexible strategy that can adapt to evolving market conditions. Despite the clear pivot back towards internal combustion engines, General Motors has not abandoned its electric vehicle ambitions entirely. The company continues to invest in and produce EVs, maintaining a significant presence in the growing market. In the first quarter of 2025, GM sold 37,000 electric vehicles, securing its position as the second-largest EV seller in the United States, surpassed only by Tesla. This demonstrates that there is still a clear commitment to electrification, even if the pace has been moderated. The strategy is no longer a sprint towards an all-electric finish line, but a more measured marathon. The company is consolidating its EV production to create more efficient and focused manufacturing hubs. Flagship electric models such as the electric Silverado, Sierra, and Cadillac Escalade IQ will be built at the dedicated Factory Zero in Detroit. Meanwhile, other plants will host a mix of vehicle types, with the Fairfax plant in Kansas designated for more affordable EVs like the rebooted Chevrolet Bolt. This approach allows GM to build economies of scale for its EV platforms while simultaneously meeting the robust demand for its profitable petrol-powered lorries and SUVs, creating a balanced and resilient product portfolio. This strategic shift from a singular all-electric focus to a more balanced approach reflects a new reality for the American automotive industry. The future, at least for the next decade, looks decidedly hybrid. Automakers will likely offer a diverse range of powertrains, including efficient petrol engines, hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and fully electric models to cater to a wide spectrum of consumer needs and preferences. This allows them to navigate the uncertain terrain of fluctuating fuel prices, evolving government regulations, and the gradual build-out of charging infrastructure without alienating their core customer base. Ultimately, GM's revised strategy suggests that the transition to electric vehicles in America will be an evolution, not a revolution. The 2035 deadline, once a clear line in the sand, has become a more fluid and aspirational target. For the American car buyer, this means more choices in the showroom for years to come. The road ahead will be paved with both petrol and electric options, as automakers like GM learn to balance their ambitious visions for the future with the practical demands of the present. The all-electric destination remains on the map, but the journey will be longer and more varied than previously planned.